So today I wanted to talk about difficult colleagues. I'm just riding my bicycle to play badminton with an Irish friend, who is he's not a difficult colleague. He's been a really good colleague, actually. He's just a nice guy. So I haven't seen him for about 6 months. So yeah, that should be cool, and it's good to get some exercise. I'm not very good at badminton, but it's good to get some exercise. I mean, I'm not very bad at badminton, but my badminton confidence is pretty low because I was playing with some pretty good players. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I shouldn't sniff, I suppose. It's a bit upsetting to some people, probably. Cancel culture. But yeah, difficult colleagues. I've had a few of them. I've had a few difficult colleagues. I'm not going to name any names. A part of me would like to, because some of these people, I just sort of feel like maybe they should be named, but I'm not going to name any names. I'm just stopping for the red light. But yeah, I'm not gonna name any names. I mean, the majority of people who I have found to be difficult to work with in China have actually been, the light's changing, have actually been foreigners. So yeah, but they're all pretty unique characters, I guess you would say. I mean, they're all very interesting, unique people. I might put the camera in my pocket. No, that's not going to work. I have to rig something up or get a GoPro or something. But most of the colleagues I've worked with that I've had difficulties with have actually been foreigners. They haven't been Chinese people. And that's not to say that Chinese people can't be difficult to work with, but just in my experience, in my fairly narrow experience, I haven't really found my Chinese colleagues to be especially difficult. I've actually found them generally to be quite protective of me and reasonable, actually. But yeah, you get so many different types of foreigners in China teaching English. Some of the best foreigners I've worked with have been people in similar situations to me. They were just, I guess, guys and girls, not just men, but they were people who just sort of were like, I'm sick of my life in Australia, or I'm sick of my life in America, and I'm sort of feel like I'm going nowhere, And a lot of them made this conclusion when they were like 21 or 22, so it's a bit silly, but they were like, yeah, I just feel like I'm not going anywhere. And I don't know who they were comparing themselves to. They were comparing themselves to Mark Zuckerberg or something. But yeah, they just decided they were going to come to China and try out a different country. Just like Jesus said, like move on to the next town, shake the dirt off your feet. So most of those people have been pretty good. The people I guess I've had the most trouble with are people who have come over to China for some specific like other reason, like maybe they were interested in Chinese culture, Chinese language, kung fu, whatever. Like they were interested in something specifically Chinese, and those people I have found to be a bit difficult, actually, to be honest. And a lot of them are really arrogant. They're like, why did you come to China? Even if they don't say that, it's sort of an undertone that they have. And it can be pretty horrible, actually. But yeah, that's sort of the attitude that some of them have. Now, difficult people, let's just begin. So the most difficult person I've ever worked with, I would say, is probably a woman. And this woman, she was from America, but she wasn't your typical American. She had like a very complex identity. She was, I think, originally from Pakistan. Her family had come over to America from Pakistan. I'm going to be careful because I don't want this person to identify me. I know I've only got like 11 subscribers at this point, but you never know what the future could bring in terms of subscribers. So I don't want to talk too much about her. But this lady, I mean, she was just a gaslighter. Like, in the centres, whatever was being talked about, she would just try to find the most divisive and difficult topics. That's exactly what she was. She was a gaslighter. And she caused a very good friend of mine from South Africa a lot of anxiety. I mean, this guy was a good guy. I mean, he wasn't a nutcase. Like, he wasn't in any way, shape or form a monster. Like, he wasn't a racist. He wasn't like a chauvinist. He was professional. He was serious about his teaching. And this lady just used to find different ways to trigger him and stuff. And, you know, look, it sounds a bit like, I never really pointed this out to my friend, although I might have actually. I might have pointed it out to her. This lady, she claimed to be a Muslim, but she was a secular Muslim, you know. She wore a lot of makeup and stuff. She didn't seem like she was too devout. But this guy was Jewish, and I think a part of it was maybe that she did like getting into him. I didn't have a lot of trouble with her. When I first started working with her, she played a trick on me. She pretended to offer to help me by taking me to the train station, to the light rail station, and she actually took me to the train station, which was about 3 or 4 kilometers away. So yeah, I mean, you know, I had to walk, and it was later that I realized, like, that was probably her little game, you know, like she'd actually done it to another guy as well. So it was really funny. It was just unbelievable. But yeah, that's one example. Another example, this time a man. This guy was British, but he was from London, and just a really young guy. He was in his 20s, and he was really intense. You know, he joined Wall Street English, and he wanted to be a manager, and he immediately started doing management training, and he was a really nice guy. Like, he seemed like a really nice, normal guy. And then I made a silly joke about calling the police or something, and he just flipped out, you know, like he shouted at me and said, you know, like, you don't know people's backgrounds, you don't know people's relationships with the police, what they might have been through. It was really full on. And that guy, ever after that, he never really opened up to me again. Like, he never really spoke to me again. He was even reluctant to go to a work dinner that I was attending, and yeah, just over a minor thing like that. So look, I mean, there's a lot of different examples of people like that. I would say that people like that, it's usually when they're fairly new to China, like they've come out of their country, they've come out of their context, and their life back in their country, it could be really full on, like you don't know what people have been through. And then they come to China and I guess they're still impacted by what they were going through. So yeah, there's a few of those kind of stories. And then, like, this is another British guy, and this guy was absolutely crazy. He was, I don't want to identify this person too much, but this guy, he dressed like, he wore makeup and stuff, you know, like he wasn't transgender, he was gothic, you know, and I thought that was really cool. Like, I knew a couple of people like that in high school, in my last couple of years of high school. This guy was 30 something, he was in his 30s, and he never washed his hair. Like, I wash my hair every 3 or 4 days. Like, I should probably wash it more, but, you know, I should probably cut it all off, actually. I should probably shave it all off. But this guy, he never washed his hair. It was always really greasy. Like, he'd never washed his hair. And he used to wear makeup. And he was the kind of guy, like, he was the cool teacher, you know, like, he was drinking a lot and he was smoking in between classes. And this is at Wall Street English, you know, like adult training center. And in the English corners, he was like, English corners are like, I guess, open classes, like anyone can go to them. And they're sort of on any topic. And he was jumping around, like, making a lot of noise. It was really crazy stuff. And then for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason he just started to hate me. I guess because I was a VVIP teacher and I was coming in and using his computer and stuff and sitting in his chair and stuff like that. It was just like a simple territorial sort of dispute. But yeah, he started to hate me. And then he even started, like, openly physically attacking me. Like, I would walk past him and he would stretch out his fingers and try to grab me and stuff, and we had these little wrestles, you know. And I mean, I'm a big guy, like, I'm a very big guy. I just don't know what he was thinking. And I complained about him, you know, and he didn't get another contract. It's one of the few times I've ever done anything like that, and I feel bad about it, but he was, like, out of control. Like, he was seriously out of control. And when I saw him in public, like when I saw him outside of that environment, he was polite as polite can be. I remember I saw him at the bar and he nodded to me. There was no bullshit, there was nothing. He just nodded to me. So he was definitely a really unique guy. But yeah, it's a horrible sort of video to make, but everybody deals with difficult colleagues. I mean, honestly, my advice for dealing with difficult colleagues is just limit your exposure to them. Like, just limit the amount of time that you are with them. So if you're in a center and you've got to prepare your classes, just try and, like, move to another classroom to prepare them. Like, don't hang around. And if things get really, really, really bad, like with me, like with him poking out his fingers at me, tell your manager, like, don't be a silent victim, or worse still, which is what I think he was trying to do, is flip out and act rashly, and then undermine, like, your whole work contract and your whole situation in the country. So yeah, that would be my advice. And just also, like, no matter how comfortable you are in China, and people get comfortable in China, they get comfortable very quickly. No matter how comfortable you are, just understand that, especially when people are new to China, they're stressed out, you know, like, they've moved halfway around the world. They're on edge. A lot of them are on edge. And you don't know what situation they've come out of. Like, you don't know how full on. Oh, the camera's going to bump now. I've got to go over some railway tracks. But you don't know what's going on in their life. So the best thing is just to be very, very, very sensitive and very, very aware of, like, you don't know what's going on in their life. You just don't know. You do not know. So yeah, this is another bike basket video, and this was filmed actually in my bike, like the camera's in my bike. And yeah, hope everyone's having a good day. Bye.